Hi, it's Phil Bajura here from Action Coach Business Steps and coming to you live on Facebook today. So today's tips is going to be about the recruitment process. And specifically, we're going to look at the position description, the person profile, and then the job ad. So there's a lot of debate around how a position description should be written. It's my view that when writing a position description, what we should be looking at is the position description should outline what the outcomes are, the key outcomes that you want the person in the role to achieve. Now, combined with those key outcomes, for each outcome, we should also set up a measurement KPI. So how are you going to know, how are you going to measure that the person is actually achieving the outcomes that you're desiring from the role? The next step is then to set up a person profile. So when we think about DISC being the personality traits of a person, being discipline, steadiness, conscientious, and also, I forget the I at the moment, so I'll come back to that, is when you're thinking about influence. So discipline, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. So when you think about each of those different personality profiles, what are some of the key attributes that are linked to those personality traits that you want the person to really fill that position with? For example, let's take a sales role. If you want somebody in a sales role, they need to be very much people orientated as opposed to being task orientated. And with somebody that is actually going to be quite shy, is not going to be ideally suited for a sales role. Somebody that doesn't like to pick up the telephone is not going to be somebody that is going to be suited to that sales role. On the opposite end of the scale, if you want somebody who you really need a lot of attention to detail, for example, maybe an electrician. You want an electrician who is going to be focused on that attention to detail, as opposed to somebody who likes to chat and not pay that much attention. You don't want them messing with electricity. So the person profile is very, very important to identify what are some of those skills, abilities, and traits that are going to be important for the type of role that you're trying to fill. The next area is then going to be the job ad. So once you've outlined the position description, that is, what's the person going to be responsible for? You've completed the person profile. So what are some of the skills and attributes that you're looking to fill the role with? Then you could go about creating the job ad. And the job ad is just as important and just as much about getting people to deselect themselves as much as saying, yes, I'm the ideal candidate for this role, and then clicking the apply button. So in terms of writing out the job ad, there's a couple of specific things that you need to be considering. First of all, it's going to be about what's the lifestyle attractions for the area that the role is going to be filled in. And when I talk about the area, it may even be the region. What are some of those key lifestyle attractions that are going to want people to come and live and work in that area? The next thing is about, well, what are the opportunities? What's the career path and training that you're prepared to provide for that candidate? Now, remember, one of the key things that people look for is not necessarily just the money. It's about what are the working conditions, what is the career path that you can offer them. Another outcome is going to be what are going to be the key experience and skills that the job requires, and outline those, as well as what are the outcomes. Also identify what the good and bad points are about the job. Don't be afraid to say, what are some of the sticklers? For example, depending on the area where you live in, it may be extremely hot or extremely cold. If it's an outside job, just say that working conditions will be both hot and cold. And so don't be afraid to outline those bad points. Also, outline what are the benefits for working with your company. Why should somebody want to come and work for you? And then the last bit is then, how are they going to apply? So you need to outline for them how they're actually going to apply for the role. Then the final thing is where are you actually going to advertise the role that you've got available? And there's a number of areas. The obvious ones are through Seek or Indeed, obviously paid options, posting it to your Facebook page. If you've got a LinkedIn profile, post it up into LinkedIn. Another area that's gaining a lot of success is Gumtree Jobs. Look at, if you're a member of association or an association, will they post your job ads up for you as well? Other areas to look at is your own internal network. So through suppliers, your customers, is there any other business associations that you might be a member of? So friends and family is another area of networking for finding the right candidates for your role. Don't forget about your employees. I've seen some great successes come from involving and applying some incentives for employees to recommend their contacts as well. So there's a whole bunch of different areas that you really need to be thinking of in terms of your recruitment process, and what are some of those key points that you need to be setting a system up as a process as part of that recruitment process. So one of the things that I just want to promote today as well is that watch out for some information regarding my upcoming live training event, which is going to be happening on the 7th of September. There'll be some posts following this shortly and how to save your seat for that. So keep an eye out for that. And until next time, please remember to keep working on your systems every day. Bye now.